Hello. Hi. It's NXT TakeOver predictions time for TakeOver 31. Adam and I thought we would pop on over here to Wrestle 2 and tell you what we think is going to happen on a show in which the more we've discussed these predictions videos, the more we've discussed these predictions, the more confused Adam and I have got over the course of discussing them in the NXT podcast, which you can see later today on Wrestle Talk. I cannot pick who is going to win for a show that feels like, obviously, NXT for the last few months has had a bit of a up and down situation with people being taken to the main roster or going out injured when they were just at the peak of their big push, a la Karrion Kross. NXT really had to just pull one out of the bag. You've had COVID as well. There's been all of this stuff. NXT have just had to slam together a takeover of all the leftover bits of Lego and Connects and Meccano they had lying around on the floor of the Performance Center. And my God, they've made it feel like it could go either way. There are 5 matches on this card. You have Santos Escobar versus Isaiah Swerve Scott. You've got Kushida, the new Vicious Kushida versus Velveteen Dream. Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest. Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae. And then at the top of the card, Finn Balor versus your man, Kyle O'Reilly.
Hooray!
Which I cannot wait to discuss. Let's dive in, Adam, at the bottom end of the scale. Maybe what will kick off the show, or I think it's going to be a real showcase match for both guys. Santos Escobar, the current cruiserweight champion, against Isaiah Swerve Scott, the only man to have pinned him in both NXT and WWE.
Get rowdy, first of all. Lovely to see you, Laurie. This is, I don't know, because, right, and this is important, you and I are tied pretty right down the bottom for predictions now. We are level pegging. The only person lower than us is Pete, and that's the only because he gave away some of his points. We're doing shockingly, and I hate it.
I'm a 4-time champion, Adam. I will rise to the top.
Yeah,
you watch me.
What have you done for me lately? So these are crucial, and I guess I could just hedge my bets and just pick everything that you pick, but I'm assuming that's why you made me go first.
That is why I've made you go first. No, this is an easy one. Come on.
Is it? Because because think about it like this. It's very probable, because they're not doing the tag champions on this card. It's very probable NXT will retain, NXT Women's will retain, and North American will retain. That's very possible because, the power couple came out ahead on to last night's NXT, and I don't think Finn Balor's losing his first defense, which would mean if you don't want to have a completely inconsequential takeover, Isaiah Swerve Scott should beat Santos Escobar after some sort of failed, maybe there's a failed run-in by Legado. I'm not saying break him up, but, maybe he attempts to cheat and it doesn't quite work out that way. And maybe he gets the belt back. And this is a way to freshen up because he's had it for a while, but he hasn't had that many challenges. So maybe they want to freshen up that way. I don't bloody know, Laurie, because, I think he should retain. Because they've been playing the storyline of I'm not gonna cheat. I believe in lucha tradition dictates that I present this contest in the most honorable and forthright manner, and then he nails you with a lucha mask with a brick in it.
He says while wearing a lucha mask covered in knives.
This is just my lucha tradition. A century of tradition means that I get to shoot you with this gun.
Tiny little maces hanging off the ends.
I am going to go with Santos Escobar to retain via shenanigans.
Oh, I'm also going to go for Santos Escobar.
Are you?
Yeah, I am.
Wow.
No, Santos Escobar was my original pick for this, and I have not just picking what Adam has picked. The reason I would go for Santos Escobar because I don't think he's done enough with the Cruiserweight Championship yet. I think they like him as the champion. I think Legado del Fantasma has real legs in NXT. I think they've also done the Swerve Scott match a few times. Maybe it feels like it's kind of the pinnacle of that with Swerve, but I reckon this is maybe Santos Escobar does have an honorable match and picks up the victory over Swerve, because that could be the thing to cement him as a cruiserweight champion. I just really like him, so I'm picking him. It's Santos Escobar. Let's do Kushida, the new Vicious Kushida, versus Velveteen Dream, and I will go first.
Yeah, because it's a bloody easy one.
I will be honourable, and I will go first. It's Kushida is who I am picking for. I'm picking Kushida. One, because I think it like there's obviously an awkward air around the Velveteen Dream at the moment, and I wouldn't necessarily like. I think they've been cautious about featuring him too heavily on TV recently, and then obviously putting him in a big takeover match. The build in this match has been behind Kushida. It's been about his change in attitude. It's been about how vicious he's going to be. I wonder if they're considering writing Velveteen Dream off of TV for a little while. And I wonder if a particularly brutal beatdown to really cement Kushida as the new vicious Kushida that he is now on a takeover card would be the way to do it. I kind of hope that's where it's going to go. So I'm going to say Kushida. Hopefully this is not just another, we're going to push Kushida for 1 week and then have him lose a really big match. Please push Kushida and make him really important because he's great.
And he's vicious. Is the new basically he's been rebranded, and so is Dream to an extent. Like he did turn heel, but yeah, you're right, he's nowhere near the focus of like the PR of like the character push that Kushida is. I don't think he's going to squash him because I think it's a 5-match card, and I don't think they really. I mean, they've done occasional squashes. Oh, that would be fun though if you just tapped him out in 30 seconds. I don't think they will do that. But I am pretty sure that Kushida's going to win. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you, Laurie. I'm hedging funny.
Okay, so this is where things start to get interesting, and I wonder whether we should just do these next 2 matches together, because I imagine the story of one feeds into the other one. Because we're going to talk about Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest and Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai. Do you want to give both picks at the same time, or do you think we should do separately?
Let's do separately. Because I want you to go first on one of them
with an explainer. Okay, so Johnny Gargano versus Damian Priest. I will go first, and I will say that Damian Priest retains. I think one Damian Priest. Like I feel. Part of me really wants to vote for the double championship run for the Garganos. I love the power couple thing. I love the matching tracks, the shell suits or whatever they are. I've really enjoyed Johnny being like the number one douchebag, but I think he's better as a cheerleader for Candice. I really feel like him just in her corner being her hype man for a bit would be a really fun thing to do. And I also think like the North American division has become so strong in the last few weeks. They've really had to obviously like reevaluate it after having lost Keith Lee and Dijakovic. And like a lot of their sort of top guys in that division have moved on. So they've been trying to rebuild this division. And yeah, I would argue that there's probably like quite a nice thing of all these young, hungry upstarts in NXT coming after the wily veteran Johnny Gargano. But I think it's kind of fresher to do it under someone like Damian Priest, who gives the division like its real own, like this is all kind of homegrown talent feel to it. And then Johnny Gargano can just do Gargano things and have brilliant feuds and takeover matches that don't necessarily have to revolve around the belt. But in the meantime, you could put him in Candice LeRae's corner, which might have given away my pick for the next match. Adam, who are you going for here?
Man, this is hard. So, okay, so here's where I'm coming from on this one. If Survivor Series wasn't around the corner, I would say Priest to retain. But because it is, and I think NXT will be stepping into... Oh, but they've just had a COVID outbreak. I don't know. Are they going to mix NXT in with the main roster of Survivor Series? If they are, the power couple showing up with those smug grins, both wearing belts, both doing like a really successful version of sort of Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis. Like that, I think is a money gimmick on the main roster and will draw eyes to NXT.
New theme music. This is the actual greatest lovable.
And so I think the power couple stuff is really, really, really good. And I really, they're talking about the destiny. Does that mean it's going to happen? Because it's Survivor Series, what would you rather see? Would you rather see Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn versus Damian Priest, or Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn versus Johnny Gargano. I don't think Johnny Gargano is going to get the title and Candice doesn't, because Candice needs it. Like, no one's necessarily clamoring for Johnny to be a champion by himself. So if they are going to do just one of them getting it, it's going to be, I think, Candice getting it and Johnny being like, well, I'm not a champion, but or they could do them both together. No, I don't know. Do I have to decide now?
I'm going to push you. I'm going to push you for an answer. I'll do my best, Chris Tarrant. I'm going to have to push you for an answer.
I'm going to go for Johnny Gargano.
You're going to go for Johnny, huh? Okay.
Let's do this. Let's do the power couple.
So you're leading it, because then let's do Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae. Adam, are you picking Candice LeRae?
I'm picking Candice LeRae. Yeah, I am. Candice versus obviously, if Bo comes back, it's definitely Candice, right? If it's Bo that is the big return, it's definitely Candice, because there is no one else for Io to fight. Gonzalez is busy with Ripley. No one else is on the level. I don't think Shotzi's ready yet. Like, Shotzi will get there, but she's not there. Kacy Catanzaro, same. There's no one else. So unless they're going to go into a blood feud and have a rematch, which they don't normally do for takeovers if the challenger doesn't win first time around, although they have. If it's coming back and it's Ember Moon, Ember versus Io Shirai is like mega money, and Io versus Asuka versus Bailey, or versus Sasha, maybe. Oh my God, Sasha, Asuka, and Io Shirai at Survivor Series. Are you kidding me? I mean, Candice would be great as well. Bollocks to it. I've torn myself out of it. Io Shirai to retain and Damian Priest to retain.
Oh my God, what a turnabout.
I'm sorry.
Whoa.
I'm so bad at this.
You do have some, I think Survivor Series hanging over the whole thing does make you second guess everything, because you think, like, what would the dream match be? Who would NXT want to put forward also as their brand ambassadors at this point? But again, who would please the main roster? I am going to say that Johnny Gargano does not win the North American title. Damian Priest retains. And here, Candice LeRae wins the NXT Women's Championship, because it's not going to happen. So I'm going to pick it. But also because I think that the story is so much more interesting and juicy with Johnny having to be sort of Candice's hype man. But like you said, also being like, but me no championship. Where me championship? Why me not have gold? And then, that causes a bit of friction between them. You can do some fun, not everything isn't right at home stuff, which I think they've obviously liked doing the Garganos at home. And I think having the fracture there and sort of having them on different pages would be quite interesting. I also think that, Candice, you've got this kind of current crop that they're fostering NXT of the Xia Lees, the Kacy Catanzaros, the Kaden Carters, all these people that they want to bring up. Ember Moon comes back. I think that could be quite fun. But you've also just got rid of Tegan Nox on an injury, which I don't think is a real injury. I'm assuming it's a work. But you can bring Tegan Nox back and think, if you wanted Tegan Nox to win the NXT Women's Championship at one point, who do you want her to be? Candice LeRae, who they've done all this story with recently. So I'm going to pick Candice because I think she offers the most in terms of the storyline here. And as much as I would like to see the golden couple of NXT and the power couple of NXT thing, I actually think they wouldn't go all in on that. I think they would do a sort of half and build up to Johnny maybe winning the belt if they are going to keep them as sort of like on the same page, or you've got the option of having it actually cause issue between them. So yeah, that could be a lot of fun. But it's probably not going to happen. It's probably just a retention for both. I don't think anything's going to change after this takeover. I think the only issue with it being thrown together at the last moment is that nothing is going to, the status quo will be maintained. Okay, this is the really, really tough one. Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly. Finn Balor, like, it's his first defense as new NXT champion. Finn Balor beat Adam Cole recently. Kyle O'Reilly suddenly came out of nowhere to become a single star, and they did a fantastic job this week of building Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn Balor, but also teasing the tensions within the Undisputed Era over the past few weeks, with Kyle not wanting to be on the same page as Roddy and Bobby, Fish and Rod, as they're known. Like, he doesn't want to be on the same page as them with the kind of level of violence that they're going for. But Cole has backed Kyle O'Reilly this week. However, it seems like there might be something pushing him to do it a little bit more frantically than, just being like, you insulted my friend. I really do feel like Adam Cole is being fueled by his own inner pride. Kyle said to Finn in their little brilliant head-to-head this week, you don't lose on your first defense, do you? No one loses their first defense, do they?
Little bastard. How dare you say that and change everything?
Kyle. I'm going to go, I think Finn Balor retains, because I think he's getting the big push, as it's being pointed out in the comments right now. But I also think that, like, Finn Balor with the belt heading into Survivor Series is a really great shout if NXT are going to be involved, because then you get Finn Balor coming back and representing the brand, and he's like a real recognizable leader for those big matches. Like, there'd be Finn Balor, Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns. Oh, yes, please. And also, I think Finn Balor gives you lots of story legs to sort of to wrap NXT's involvement around as well. Like, Finn Balor being like, I had to leave here because it was so bad on both these brands, and I went back here and did stuff. Like, there's something really interesting in that. But I also think, I also think the reason you do that, though, is because you can protect the single star Kyle O'Reilly rising out of this, because you can start to stir up stuff with the Undisputed Era.
Yes. Yeah.
So I am actually also tempted to say that potentially Finn wins, but it might just be through disqualification or something like that. I don't think they want to do that to end a takeover, but I think Finn wins. I think it's the Undisputed Era's fault, and I think that is causes the rift between these guys, and hopefully builds to either a tag match between Kyle and Cole together versus Fish and Rod, or just eventually leads to the big singles match between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole, because I want to see it. I really want to see it, and I do also want to see it for the NXT Championship. So I also tempted to pick Kyle for that, but I'm sticking with Finn. I hate this card. It's so hard to pick.
Oh, I just want them to put it on Kyle. Like, oh, it would be so good. I don't know if it's necessarily the right thing to do for, like, NXT as a brand, ratings and all that kerfuffle. I think the much more interesting story is, what do Undisputed Era do with Kyle O'Reilly on, like, as champ? Like, do we get the second wave of the prophecy, or does jealousy and whatever rear its ugly head? I think you're right. I think Finn Balor is going to retain, because more story, I think, to do with Undisputed Era. And I think what you're going to have is Strong Fish or Fishing Rod run out to try and interfere on behalf of Kyle. He's going to say, no, I'm doing this by myself. Maybe push someone away, maybe there's a slap. He goes back into the ring, and because of miscommunication, he will lose that way. And then there may be real altercation, and then Adam Cole has to come out and say, no, there's no problem with the Rockers, we're fine. And then they'll break up a little bit later, which would mean everyone's retaining. So if you don't mind, I'm going back to my first prediction. I'm going with Isaiah Swerve Scott, because I think this is so hard, right? Because there are two, like, both
we just had the mad reset of the status quo within NXT. Like, this has only been decided who's the champion a week ago, essentially.
The women's title match and the North American Championship match are linked, and the big question is, are they both going to win? Which suggests that the first match that you see, surely that person has got to win. Like, I can totally imagine Candice LeRae is first. Johnny comes out, real git, helps Candice win. And then the second half of the prophecy is Johnny doesn't win. I can so see that happening. That makes total sense because the matches are linked. But also...
You're having a crisis, mate. You're just having a breakdown.
Well, it's really hard, and I can't, like, generally, like, I don't want to do these punishments, and I know that Pete might end up doing it. But if I shed 2 points on this and Pete gets perfect, then Pete's 1 point behind me, and we've got another takeover and Survivor Series to go. I need this to be a clean sweep. So do you, buddy. So what I can see is I can imagine, like, Johnny Gargano out first. It fails. So they get really kind of crazy about it. And then it fails a second time. And in the middle of the card, you have a big cruiserweight title change because Santos Escobar tries to cheat, but it doesn't work. But that's going to be the finish of the Johnny Gargano match, isn't it? Bloody hellfire.
Okay, so to clarify,
I don't know.
What have you picked? Because I've picked, okay, we'll go through my picks just before we wrap up and do
okay.
the few super chats that have come in. I've gone Santos Escobar, Kushida, Priest, LeRae, Balor. And I can't remember what our bonus question was. Will the Undisputed Era split up? Probably. Yes and no. So, and then for the Undisputed Era splitting up on this show, no.
No, the Undisputed Era won't split up here. There'll be tension, but I don't think they'll have officially split up enough to be like a heel turn thing.
Okay, go on.
Kushida. Definitely Kushida.
Def's Kushida. That's written in stone.
Finn Balor.
Finn Balor. Pick a name. Just pick a name.
Isaiah Swerve. That would make them all face wins if Isaiah Swerve's got one.
Except Balor.
Balor's a face.
And sort of Kushida.
Kushida's well, they're tweeners, aren't they?
Yeah. Shades of grey. So difficult to pick.
Right, bollocks to it. Here's how it's going to go. Kushida, Swerve, Finn Balor, EO, and Damian Priest.
Wow.
I hate those predictions.
Well,
I hate them.
They're out there in the universe now. No takesy backsies. Please fill in your WrestleLeague form accordingly. Guys, if you want to take part in WrestleLeague, then you need to become a pledge hammer on Patreon, and you can predict against us. Obviously, we're coming towards the end of a season, but one will be picking up again at Survivor Series, so it's well worth getting involved as we head into that, because we've got a few more pay-per-views before we wrap up, and it's always fun to predict the shows. We've had 23 minutes of fun getting Adam to finally say 5 names that he could have just said at the beginning of the show. So there we go. Let us whiz through the super chats that have come in. So Just Simon 419 says potentially bold pick. I think Kushida should tap out Dream in less than a minute if they're going to write him off. I can see that happen. If it wasn't a 5-card show, 5-match card, I really could see them having a really short one. I wonder if they'll just fling on a Breezango match as well, where nothing will change. The status quo will be maintained. Zach Robinson says, guess what? I've got a fever and the only prescription is more cowbell. Rock on. On a different note, I sent you guys an email to the support address, RE_Quizomania. Can anyone confirm they received it, please? I haven't checked the support email. But
no, I don't have access. But I'm sure someone will have received it. Someone is working the support at WrestleTalk.
We will chase it up for you, Zach.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
That was loud. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that was really loud. Just Simon 4. I wonder if you could fix the audio on these things before we put them in. Just Simon 419 says, I reckon O'Reilly is getting the long haul. Cole screws him on Sunday, but he goes on to beat Cole and Ciampa en route to Mania weekend to beat Balor. I do, that is a wrinkle we didn't actually discuss here, was like Cole just costing Kyle, and that all those rumors. We discussed the rumors about Undisputed Era and the direction they're potentially going in the podcast today. So please, that'll come out at 7:00 tonight. So do check that out. Because because Mike Johnson said there's some interesting things about Undisputed Era's direction. But yeah, I wonder if some of that's a swerve, and Cole might not be the big baby face that they're positioning him as, and he might turn on Kyle O'Reilly here. It's definitely always a floating option. But yeah, I'm just so intrigued. I just think there are 3 matches on this card that are so hard to predict, and every single outcome from them is still brilliant. Like every combination of outcome, even if it's maintaining the status quo, provides you with story opportunity. And I think that's what's been so brilliant about NXT the last few weeks, like what they've done so well with the fallout from TakeOver 30, and obviously like everything that's happened. Like they've really managed to make Finn Balor and Kyle O'Reilly feel like a big time match where whatever the outcome is, there's such juicy prospects for the Undisputed Era. Finn Balor, if he retains, has got all these options in place. You've got Gargano and Laurie, and are they going to fall out? Are they going to both fail? Are they going to suddenly have to go more? What are they going to do if they both it's just brilliant. And then you're going to get Kushida rip Velveteen Dream's arm off. What more do you want from a show?
Do I have time to change my predictions?
Oh, go on then. Yeah, we've got another 25 minutes. Go on.
No, I'll keep them. I'll commit to losing everything that I hold dear. Damian Priest, Io Shirai, Finn Balor, Kushida, and Swerve. And no, the Undisputed Era won't turn on Kyle.
No, the Undisputed Era will not turn on Kyle O'Reilly. We've got one last super chat coming. Joseph Gianella says, if Cole does screw Kyle, do we get the storybook promo Kyle did on Ring of Honor? Yes, please. I like the history that they can dip into with these two would be fantastic as a singles push. I really would be pleased for it. That's all we've got time for, talking about our predictions. Please let us know in the comments down below what your predictions are for NXT TakeOver 31, and hopefully you can type those out in less than 23 minutes.
Look, I'm sorry.
Like a certain Blumpier.
I'm sorry. It's hard.
Absolutely pretzeled his mind trying to make his way through that. As I said before, click the button. There should be a button on screen at some point that will make you a pledge hammer on Patreon. Be in the video description as well. If you want to join WrestleLeague and predict against us, like the video if you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. I've been Faker Laurie Blake. I've been joined by Adam Blompier, and that was NXT Predicciones.